I have officially completed watching every single Wes Anderson movie, so that means I obviously have to rank every single one from worst to best. Now, easily at my worst spot is Wes Anderson's Bottle Rocket, and this is the only one that I'll have to give a 3 out of 5 for. It's his first movie with a literal $6 million budget, and it was still just kind of mid. You can kind of tell it was directed by him, but it just doesn't have all the traits that we grew to love. Next up, and I know this one's controversial, but I have Rushmore. Every single movie starting here on out are pretty great movies, and at least a 3.5 out of 5. But still, I watch Wes Anderson for the symmetrical perfection of Wes Anderson, and this one is still just on the unsymmetrical side of Wes. Very similar to Bottle Rocket, but then again, it is a huge step up from the first movie. It is obviously also one of Jason Schwartzman's best roles, but still, this one just doesn't speak to me like the other ones do. Next, French Dispatch is his third worst because it's definitely the worst super symmetrical Wes film, but it's still perfect in the arts of being symmetrical, so that's why I have to put it in front of the weaker non-symmetrical Wes Anderson movies. But a few other instances where he'll just put some absolute baddies in his movies and not gatekeep the goods, which I will make sure to point out throughout this video. So this is officially the first tally for Wes's freak counter. There was also a beautiful song called Aline by Jarvis Cocker that was stuck in my head for the longest time. So that's why the French Dispatch is kind of lit. Next up, we have The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. Even for this one to be 3 years after the Royal Tenenbaums, it still felt like Wes was figuring it all out. This is also the longest Wes movie with its 2-hour runtime, and it sadly definitely felt like it was a 2-hour movie. But besides this movie having kind of a weak line delivery that kind of sounded like a homemade backyard film, it still has a fantastic soundtrack with that foreign black guy ripping David Bowie songs in every scene. It has a breasted woman that is topless in almost every scene she's in, and it has William Dafoe with a mohawk in it, which goes insanely hard. Next. Because obviously Fantastic Mr. Fox is a certified hood classic, I was a little let down when I saw Isle of Dogs. But it's still an extremely beautiful movie, even if half of the film takes place in a junkyard and makes me a little uncomfortable with how dirty it is. This movie is just so satisfying in the arts of Wes. So that's why it has to be higher than the ones before it. Like, just watch a small clip from the poison sushi making scene again and tell me I'm wrong.
Wait a second. Before we attack each other and tear ourselves to shreds like a pack of maniacs, let's just open the sack first and see what's actually in it. It might not even be worth the trouble.
What do you think? I'm not sure.
Maybe.
Hi.
A rancid apple core, 2 worm-eaten banana peels, a moldy rice cake, a dried-up pickle, tin of sardine bones, a pile of broken eggshells, an old smushed-up rotten gizzard with maggots all over it.
Okay, it's worth it.
Now we have Asteroid City. I feel like people hate on this one just to hate on it. It's easily a top 3 most symmetrical Wes film. It has an underrated soundtrack that sounds extremely magical when something important happens. And again, there was a scene where I thought Wes was gonna gatekeep nude Scarlett Johansson, but if you pause it at the right moment, you get to see the goods. Thank you, Wes Anderson, thank you. But still, for a movie where a literal alien pulls up, who I can tell was hella chill, the craziest thing about this movie still is how Jason Schwartzman married Margot Robbie for her to die and not even 2 weeks later bagged Scarlett Johansson. And still, after all that, the kid Jason produced with that level of baddie pull material was Jake Ryan, aka Woodrow. Next, we have Moonrise Kingdom. This is another one where I really thought it was going to be an easy 4 out of 5, but it was almost too small scale at the beginning, which is obviously cute, but it almost became too underwhelming at the same time. The main duo's dialogue delivery felt a little too brain foggy numb, which I know still works for Wes Anderson, but I just felt like it was more choppy than usual. Other than those complaints, the climax of this movie absolutely revived me. I love how bigger the scale of the movie felt with the community of Boy Scouts, and how the stakes in general just felt higher, especially with the DEFCON 5 level storm. Although this is not a 4 out of 5, it's a very high 3.5 out of 5. I also did not want to point this out, but if I'm doing a Wes freak counter, I have to at least mention that Susie's shirt is off for a portion of this film, who is a 12-year-old, by the way, and obviously as a director, Wes told her to do that. So I know it's subjective, but Wes, what the hell, bro? You took the freak counter way too far with that one. The Darjeeling Limited is probably Wes Anderson's most underrated movie. You know it's something special if I watched it when all those Indian street food videos were taking over my Insta Reels feed, and I still enjoyed the crap out of this. There's something about this one that just feels so much deeper than most. It just feels like the 3 brothers, Adrian Brody, Jason Schwartzman, and Owen Wilson, all have a missing part of themselves and they're trying to find it in this film. This film was also filled with a lot of underrated ongoing Wes Anderson jokes throughout it. Like, just watch this clip and tell me it doesn't deserve to be a 4 out of 5.
Because I have alopecia. Yeah.
That's like albino, right?
And here's another shout out to our boy Wes for being a freaky little kink, because the short prequel prologue to this movie called Hotel Chauvelet consisted of a 13-minute Wes Anderson stylized sex scene with Jason Schwartzman and the Natalie Portman. The big scale factor of this felt like it was really nailed. It made the star-studded cast not feel as crammed together like Asteroid City. The ending is the only other letdown, otherwise this movie was a great symmetrical time. Now say what you want to say about my past rankings. I think all of those rankings can be interchangeable for anyone's list, but my top 3 I think are easily the best Wes Anderson movies. I believe if you don't have at least 2 out of 3 of these in your top 3, you're doing something wrong. That being said, if y'all haven't watched The Royal Tenenbaums, y'all need to go watch it. It is insane to me how early in Wes's career he cooked up this masterpiece. Think about it. This came out in 2001, and his first movie he made was in 1996. Within just 5 years, he cooked up a goated movie. If you haven't watched it, it follows a family that was super rich and talented and all child prodigies, but they all grew up to become screw-ups. But they all come together and deal with their problems, which leads to some extremely deep moments for no reason. The deepness factor of this is what makes it one of the best. But would you look at that? Wes Anderson did it again. We got Luke Wilson and Gwyneth Paltrow making out, who are brother and sister in this movie, so add it to the freak counter. Then again, if I had Gwyneth Paltrow in one of my movies, ain't no way she'll be in it without making out with someone. If this list was just based off nostalgia, Fantastic Mr. Fox would easily be my number 1. This movie is so fantastic, say that again, that I don't even think I need to talk about it for that long. There is that part where Mr. Fox is hiding in the apple cider shells and the camera zooms in really close to his face. I was wondering if I was the only one that was really scared of that part as a kid. Let me know in the comments if you felt the same way. Still, this movie is just so fantastic, you've probably already heard someone talk about it a billion times. So just watch the Christopherson Wes Anderson crash out again and tell me you don't love this movie.
Well, anyway, it's not half as bad as double pneumonia, right? I mean, his dad's got 1 foot in the grave and 3 feet on a banana peel. It's a lot worse than just a...
Although I absolutely love Fantastic Mr. Fox, I cannot not admit that Wes Anderson's entire career has pretty much just led up to the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's almost as if all of his previous films were all just training exercises to cook up this masterpiece. It's bigger scale, so it has some insane, breathtaking visuals. It has some of the strongest comedic bits.
I hereby place you under arrest for the murder of Madame Celine Villeneuve de Goffin Taxis.
I knew there was something fishy. We never got the cause of death. She's been murdered. And you think I did it?
And of course, it's gonna have our final freak Wes counter with Grandma Tilda Swinton briefly naked, which this has to just be some sort of kink because Grandma Tilda Swinton was sexualized by Ralph Fiennes' character throughout the entire film. Still, I could talk about this movie for hours, so let me just end it off with one of the funniest jokes in the entire movie and call it a day.
Forgive me, Monsieur Gustave. I never meant to betray you. They threatened my life and now they murdered my only family.
No. Who'd they kill this time?
My dear sister.
The girl with the clubfoot?
Yes.
Those fuckers.